Good afternoon, collectors and friends. Welcome to Trading Card Therapy, episode number 108. We have a lot of fun topics I'm going to discuss today. Before we do, I'd like to show off a really cool collection that was recently mailed into our offices here at Just Collect. We're in Summit, New Jersey. And just as a quick plug, we're actually having a really fun pre-Halloween event on Tuesday, October 28th from 3 p.m. when the kids get out of school till about 9 o'clock Eastern time at night. So if you're anywhere in the Summit, New Jersey vicinity, please stop by our store. And if your kids dress in a costume, they'll be entered into a free drawing for a chance to win a box of 2025 Bowman Chrome Baseball. Okay, so I wanted to tell you about this collection that was recently mailed in. The first thing I'm going to show you, how cool is this? This is the original way it was issued. I'm going to give you folks a second or two to guess. For those of you that are veteran vintage collectors, you likely know what this is. But if you don't, I'll give you a moment. Now I'm going to flip it over. There are some cards in the box, as you can see. I'm going to flip it over. And now for those that don't know, this is an issue called the 1929 Caution Publications. And it featured 100 cards. But what was very interesting is each series was 25 cards, was issued in a different color box, as you can see here, orange, blue, coral, and canary. And in each of these 25 cards, they'll show you per series which players are included. But they were smart. They doubled down on one player, actually quadrupled down. Each of the 25 card series, no matter what box you bought, you were guaranteed to get, that's right, the Great Bambino, a Babe Ruth card. Great marketing on their part. So let me take out the cards so far that are in this box. I'm going to leave this over here. And you can see there is a handful of cards from the 1929 Caution Publications set. And these are generally more so the lesser known players. I'll show you a couple of them here. You can see they're in pretty reasonable shape, which is great. And as I said, there's 25 per box. I didn't count how many are in this collection. But here are the Hall of Famers and key stars. So starting off with, you have Frankie Fritsch, Hall of Famer, Chuck Klein, Lloyd Wainer. These are all in pretty reasonable condition. Hack Wilson holds the Major League Baseball record for most RBIs in the season. Eddie Rausch, Jim Bottomley, I think that's Freddie Lidstrom. And then here, we don't know what happens. But here is the Babe Ruth that came from this collection. It's not a bad-looking card if you only looked at the corners. But, of course, as you can see here, it suffered some sort of situation. And my question for you, the community, is what do you think happened? Do you think they glued something, like, on top of this? Do you think this was on the bottom of, I don't know, like some other school project? I don't know. I'm disappointed about the damage, but of course, to get any collection from 1929 that comes with the original box, I think it's just super cool and adds to the story for me as not just, a professional card treasure hunter, but also as a collector. And we don't know what we'll do with this Ruth yet in particular, but it is a really nice group of cards, and we were happy to share them with you today here for the first time. If you want to check out the full story about this 1929 Caution collection, or to be fair, if you'd like to check out other collections that we've bought in the past, including other 1929 Caution collections, you can do that at our blog at blog.justcollect.com. And we have hundreds of stories you could read that are highly entertaining. And for me personally, I love knowing where some of the cards actually come from all these decades later. So I enjoy writing them. I hope you enjoy reading them. Next topic we're going to cover today, we're going to be all over the board today. But we're going to be talking about Banana Ball. You might think, well, Lee, didn't you cover Banana Ball in one of your recent episodes when you took your son to a game? Well, thanks for reminding me. I did. And, I talked about the experience. In fact, my son and I were not able to make a playoff game. I didn't go to any of the Yankee playoff games with my friends. And I did get to a couple games, during the year. But I'd say probably the most fun was going to the Savannah Bananas game with my son this year at Yankee Stadium. And so along those lines, this is what I want to talk about. Do you think that we are close to seeing either Savannah Banana Baseball Cards or Banana Ball League cards, because now they're going to have a league next year. And I'll tell you, if we're not going to be seeing it anytime soon from Fanatics or Topps or Upper Deck, someone out there soon should go get that license, because the fandom that I saw firsthand for the Savannah Bananas, and to be fair, I think they played like the Firefighter something. I don't remember the name of them. People of all ages. Like I saw grandmas wearing Savannah Banana caps and like a bright blue and yellow shirt. I have a feeling these cards would do well. And can you imagine a one of one, right? Of, maybe some of the better players, it's their key rookie. But all in all, I'm curious, what do you think? Do you think, one, that someone out there is close to producing Savannah Banana baseball cards or Banana Ball baseball cards? And then two, if you don't think someone is close, do you think the product would do well? I would love to hear each and every one of your thoughts. Thanks so much for sharing them with me. Update, it does turn out that they make Savannah Banana baseball cards. I don't know about you, but Savannah Banana seems like it's everywhere. And I was at the stadium. Yankee Stadium was completely sold out. People were waiting online 100 plus deep for the Bananas merch. $38 t-shirts. Grandmas are buying $68 sweatshirts. And so my question is, if they have Savannah Banana baseball cards, who's in charge of the marketing? I can't believe I didn't see a single sign, whiff of a smell, anything at all at the stadium. And then for someone who's in the space, I mean, this is what I do professionally, I'm just really surprised that I didn't know they make Savannah Banana baseball cards. And I would think that whether it be autographs of your favorite player or relic cards or things of that nature would be popular. Now, a buddy of mine did tell me that, the brand is really strong, but the players aren't as well known. Maybe that'll change in the future. What do you think? Do you think that a Savannah Banana baseball cards are around, let's say, for the next 10 or 20 years? Do you think that first edition or two is going to be something of value? Or it's going to be more of like nostalgic type feeling for those who might be collecting the cards? And of course, this all depends on the success of the league. I'm curious to everyone's thoughts. Let me know. All right, we're going to move on to the next topic. And this one, I'm sure, has at least crossed the mind of many folks who might be watching this, because I know that the demographics of folks who consume trading card therapy, and to be clear, if you're watching this, you're likely watching it on YouTube, but we also have the audio version on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you enjoy your favorite podcast. And so recently, PSA came out with a price increase. And not only did they come out with a price increase, they came out with increased turnaround times. Who likes a price increase? It is a situation that we all have to deal with. If you're a dealer, if you're a collector, ultimately, I wanted to share my thoughts on it. But of course, I'd love to hear if you have a different take. So number one, they increased the prices. I don't know anyone who likes price increases, so I'll answer my own question. Number two, they're clearly hurting flippers. And why do I say that? Well, because if they are going to increase the cost of grading the cards, once again, putting aside the increased turnaround time, and you are selling the cards for a profit, well, then that increased price is an increased expense. Therefore, it will decrease your profit. I'm saying something pretty apparent here. And as far as the flippers go, even though they may not be happy about it, I do believe if they had a better place to go, I don't think that they have an allegiance to PSA. I think they have an allegiance to make the most money they can. And with that, we're going to move on from flippers. Is it good for collectors? No. But I would argue this. I don't think it matters that much for collectors. And I'm going to share with you my thoughts. So number one, if you are a collector and you keep most of your cards, because we know collectors always kind of move in and out of some, most of us at least do. But if you're going to keep, let's say, a bunch of these cards for the long term, at least as we stand today in 2025, PSA is a grading company and as a third-party authenticator, their cards, when graded, on average, sell for more than the other grading companies. No guarantees that will exist and be like that in the future. However, in today's environment, PSA is the best. I'm not saying that they are the best grader. I'm not saying they're the best brand. I'm saying that their cards sell for their most money when they're graded, on average. And so if collectors are going to hold them for the long term, and you're really not buying them to flip, once again, no one likes a price increase, but I would argue that the impact on collectors would be a little bit less than it might be for a flipper. And I also know of collectors that are not just grading, let's say, to complete a set or maybe to help offset some of the costs, maybe make a few dollars to offset some of the costs of acquisition for their collection. But there's absolutely a group of folks that are grading cards for nostalgia, for posterity, and things along those lines. And so if the few dollars that they're increasing the cost for that service is a big deal, I totally get that. Especially if you're going to, you got 17 cousins and, you're going to be making a slab of put their first baseball game picture in each, custom slab of PSA, because I think they offer that service now. My point is, I know, myself included, I definitely grade cards with PSA, and to be fair, SGC as well, for my collection that I have no intention of selling while I'm on this earth. And I don't love that they're increasing the price for that. But if I'm not really going to sell the card, I can afford this increase. Meaning, because I'm not going to sell it, it doesn't really matter that much. And so to me, if the cost as a collector is too cumbersome in terms of nostalgia and posterity, I'm not plugged or I have any deals or alignments with any supply companies. Although I did meet the owner of the penny sleever at Vintage Trade Night. He's a great guy. And getting back to center here, I would put my cards in a one touch or in card savers or a top loader. Meaning, if going from $20 to $23 is really upsetting to me and I can no longer slab, I'm just making this up, my base 92 Fleer baseball set, which is like one of the ugliest, 91 Fleer baseball, it's yellow, like the Savannah Bananas. Maybe that'll be their favorite set, but it's certainly one of my least favorite sets. I think that I was just laughing at the notion of slabbing a 91 Fleer baseball set. I would just put those cards in some sort of cheaper holder. And once again, if you're going from $23, even though a one touch might be $3 or $5, I really don't know the cost. That's still a lot better than putting it into the PSA holder. And the point is, if you can't afford it, and now it's made it even worse that you can't afford that next level, then, maybe there's a situation where those one touches, the card savers or top loaders would suffice. But I could certainly understand being disappointed as a collector. That's for sure. I just don't think, all in all, that it's that big of a deal. And the reason why I say it like that is because from a dealer standpoint, I just look at the dollars and cents. If the card is not worthy of grading, I don't grade it. If it looks like it's a proposition that makes sense economically, I'll go for it. But make no mistake, if it's $3 extra or $5 extra, and depending on the level I'm grading it, clearly that will impact, my profit. But I also believe this, unlike, for example, like when you're experiencing, and I'm terrible with analogies, so maybe this is going to go off the rails here. But experiencing inflation, you go to the supermarket and you're upset because eggs used to be $2 and now they're $11. I don't really know about egg substitutes and stuff. And so, the point is, like, I could see being really upset. Like, you need your eggs, right? It's protein. It's all this other good stuff that comes from it. But for the cards, like, I don't think you need to have your card graded by PSA in the case of nostalgia or posterity. So putting that aside, once again, if you're a long-term collector, please let me know in the chat. How disgruntled and upset are you? Or are you like me and it just doesn't matter that much, or you don't think it matters that much in terms of the price increase, meaning you don't love it, but you're still going to grade the cards you think make economic sense to grade with PSA as a dealer and or collector. As a collector, I certainly would be upset. But all in all, just to finish the point, I believe that it stinks, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. And of course, ask you as well. Maybe I'm missing something and I'm open-minded. Maybe I haven't thought about X, Y, or Z, or if you're a set registry collector, and this is a big disaster for you because you grade, I'm just making this up, an extra 1,000 cards, or you grade 1,000 cards a year to help build your PSA sets. And I could see that being very upsetting to you because a $3 charge times 1,000 is $3,000. That buys a lot of really, really good cards or one great card. So from one collector to another, I do feel your pain. But for flippers, it's definitely bad. That's for sure. All right. Last subject I wanted to cover today is it's I guess somewhat funny and amusing, also interesting, and it really doesn't have to do with sports cards. However, you'll see what I mean in a minute. Give me back my Pokemons. That's right. We're going to be talking about Pokemon cards on Trading Card Therapy. And the reason why we're going to do that, we're going to let Joe play a clip in just a second about, let's just say, an interesting occurrence that transpired at a Sam's Club. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, because I paid for it. And she's holding my stuff.
Checked out and paid. I was given permission by two employees.
I already paid for it.
It's not your membership. It's his membership.
Okay, but I paid for it already.
I don't care. I already just got done telling
And they said it was okay.
No, they did not.
Yeah, they did. I didn't say her. I said her.
No,
she was okay with it.
About it. I'm a manager.
I already paid for it, though.
I don't care.
Now you're holding my stuff because I already paid for it.
I just got done telling you. He said he was buying it. Who paid for it?
Exactly.
It's two for membership. He doesn't have a membership. He used hers. He said he was buying it.
Should I have grabbed my items from her hands and walked away?
It was okay.
No.
Yes, they did.
not.
But we're here
You got
shopping.
to from your mom.
Exactly. I already paid for that, though.
I don't care.
You can't just take my product from me.
We can refund it, and we can have you guys go ahead and leave the store if you're going to cause a scene.
I'm not. Bro, I'm just trying to get for what I paid for it.
Okay, and I'm going to refund it. You cannot.
But I don't want a refund.
You're going to get a refund.
How am I going to get a refund if I already paid for it? I don't want a refund.
I'm getting you a refund because the policy is 2 per member.
Okay, 1, 2.
You're not a member.
1, 2. You
I
pay
didn't say
for it.
me. I said 1, 2. That's per member.
Am I not right?
Like, bro, what? You just took my product. You're stealing now.
She's not stealing.
Yeah, because I paid for it. And she's holding my
I
stuff.
just told you up here.
It's mine now if I paid for it. Yes, it is. I paid, bro.
So as you can see from the video, it looks like things got a little bit haywire in a local Sam's Club. And it looks like there's a new character out there for people to either love or hate called Sam's Club Karen. Now, how does Sam's Club Karen play into this? Let me at least give you a synopsis of what I think I saw, because I had to ask my team about it before we went live today. And I want to share with you my thoughts about it. And of course, I would love to hear what you think as well. So, Sam's Club Karen is working at Sam's Club. And the way that I understand this video is gentleman and his wife, they have a family membership, I assume, and they're there together. And I guess they're buying, 17 pounds of mayo, 63 pounds of tuna, right? 600 bottles of water, 48 pounds of sardines. You get the drift. If you've never been to a Sam's Club or a Costco, that's what they do. Sorry, I'm just trying to move this chair here. Get out of the way. Okay. So apparently, and once again, I don't know the rules, but apparently there was a situation where they checked out and you could get 2 of these Pokemons, boxes, sets, etc., per membership. But both this husband and wife were on the membership, and apparently they asked to check out. They said, hey, this is our membership. I got 2. My wife's got 2. Like, is that cool? And apparently the person said yes. So they checked out with 162 potatoes, 433 strawberries. You're getting the gist. And not 2 Pokemon boxes, but 4. Okay? So as the video is playing out, it looks like at some point, Sam's Club Karen comes out of like the bushes. I don't know where she's hiding, if she's in a different dimension, but she somehow, this is what wasn't clear to me, maybe it's clear to you in the video, she somehow now has possession of 2 of the 4 Pokemon units of the sets, the boxes, whatever they are. And the guy's saying to Sam's Club Karen, meaning the husband, you're stealing. Because the guy's like, I paid for these. I have the receipt. And Sam's Club Karen is saying, oh, no. She's doing the Matumbo finger pointing. Cue Joe. And she's saying, nope, you don't understand the policy. The policy is 2 per membership. And the guy's like, but I asked online. I didn't try to buy 432 of them like the strawberries. I asked, is this all right? The cashier said, okay. It didn't not ring them up. I rang up one, I rang up two, I rang up three, I rang up four. So my question for you is, what would you do about Sam's Club Karen? Before I share my thoughts, I want to pause for a moment so that you can really think about it. Let your blood boil. Maybe it's not boiling. I just find it entertaining at the very least. And I couldn't imagine if it was with my son, like what would happen, right? I don't know that I would try to buy four, but regardless, I don't think there's anything wrong with the guy saying there's two people on this membership. It's a limited Pokemon product. We like our Pokemons and we want to buy four. Is that okay? They say yes. Guy checks out. Can you imagine? You're like, wait a minute. Is that Sam's Club Karen in the corner hiding under the warehouse rack? Because like, where does this woman come from? But then all of a sudden, bang, she says, you can't have these two Pokemons. And all I hear the guy saying is, give me back my Pokemons. So who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? All I know is that even if these folks tried to get the most that they could for their membership, who can fault them, right? Because you got to pay hundreds of dollars or at least a bunch of money for Sam's Club. I don't know. I'm not a member. But then two, even if the policy was broken, they were rang up at the register and he paid for them. What gives you the right, Sam's Club Karen, to take property that no longer belongs to you as he's paid for them? And now he's just in awe and in utter shock. And honestly, I felt his pain. So I'm not sure who's right, who's wrong. But to me, listen, I got a little card shop here in Summit, New Jersey. We try to do the right thing all the time. And sometimes it costs some money to do that. They had to do the right thing, meaning they should have told them, in my opinion, you know, folks, Mr. and Mrs. Pokemon violators, today we're going to let you go. You can have the 4 Pokemons. But in the future, just so you know, the policy is 2 per membership. No matter how many people are on your membership, it's 2 per membership, just so you know. We're going to put a note on your account. Just joking around about that. But if they ate any loss as a big I don't say billion-dollar business, you would think that they would have trained their employees to understand to not create a scene and a new character called Sam's Club Karen. So I'd love to hear your thoughts because I don't know. Never had experienced this before. But my buddy sent me the video and asked what I thought. So I watched it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this really happened. I asked him a few questions because I didn't quite understand. I looked at the comments in the video, which is clearly going viral. So I wanted to mention it here. Please let me know what you would have done in the case of the guy who bought the 4 Pokemons. And then do you think Sam's Club Karen was right? And you're going to have her over for Thanksgiving, or you think she was nuts the way that I do? Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to Trading Card Therapy, episode number 108. I wanted to drop an FYI. I am going to be in the Chantilly, Virginia area next weekend for a couple days for the big convention. So if you're going to be out there, I would love to meet you, have a pop, talk collecting, do a trade. If you're selling cards, love to check it out. Hope to see you there. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take it easy.